A little video for how to repair or understand the laser autobailer. So there is a little foot inside the autobailer with a little hole here that the metal rod pulls on. So if you can see in the light here, the rod will pull this foot towards the camera, and that will kick the chute down. And then when you push the rod back in, the elastics, where's the camera here? The elastics then pull the chute back up. So when you have the autobailer stuck in the open position, it's usually because you pull the boat up and something hits the autobailer chute hard enough to unclick this. Can I get the right? This clicks out of little hole, which I think you can see in there. So once or twice I've managed, and you can sort of imagine that the boat is where the camera is looking now, managed to put my finger up through the chute and push very hard down so that this little knob clicks into the holder, the little receiver of the knob there. But as you could see with this new one, my spare here, I had to push really hard. So the one that I succeeded in doing that was probably partly broken. So really you have to unscrew the autobailer. Then you get this coming out of the boat. You have to pull the plug off the end of the metal wire, or the metal rod, because the rod will be coming out here. And then you basically just pop this back in, and then it's almost good to go. But you have to set up the springs because the foot pulls the chute down, but the springs have to pull the chute back up. So the springs, you can either use rubber O-rings, which are the original designed intention, or you can use the new springs, which last longer. The O-rings eventually get worn out. So one end of the O-ring goes around here, and then the other end of the O-ring goes around this little knob here. So it's got a little bump on it so that the O-ring doesn't slide off. And then back in the day, we used to put a twist on the O-ring, and that worked better. It pulled the chute up better. And so I was like, oh, let's do 2. Why not do 3? And the reason is that if you twist the O-ring too much, it stresses the rubber, and the rubber doesn't last as long. But that's all kind of bad technology. I recommend, even though they're a bit more expensive, buying the springs, because the springs also pull the chute up, but they're not slowly deteriorating. So when you pull the when you pull the rod, the chute goes down. So you pull the rod, it kicks the foot down, and the chute pops open. And then when you push the rod again, the chute doesn't come up. It's probably because you have rubber O-rings that are too old or broken. So again, you have to unscrew the screw that's holding the autobailer into the boat, and then you just have to replace the O-ring, which is a little bit difficult because it's you have to get one end right down in, if you can even see on the camera, one end right down in on that little bump that you can just, there it is, a little bump that you can just see in here, if I'm pointing around into it. And then the other end around here, where am I pointing? Around here. So here to here is where the rubber or the spring goes. Other things, make sure that you use sealant. Because this is below the water line, it's very important that you use silicone or whatever, Sikaflex or whatever sealant on this screw. This is a place where the boat can leak if you don't do that. And do your best to try to line up the leading edge with the boat, because that could cause some extra drag.